Log leaders Napsa Stars had a debt with Kabwe Warriors. For Elijah Chikwanda, he probably needed to, change the chemistry of what is going on in the Kabwe Warriors camp. He took over from Chintu Kampamba based on poor results, and this game was going to be ever so difficult. It was played at the Nkoloma Stadium, kicked off at 1500 hours. Let's look at the two selections, shall we? So it was Chikwanda versus Tenan Chilumba. Now, for Tenan Chilumba, he's fallen in love with this formation. It has given him results. 4-3-3 with two attacking midfielders, Collins Kombe and you remember Banda in the central areas. And in between the sticks, we saw Philip Banda actually playing after, Rapson Mchelenganga's actually made that position pretty much personal to order. But for Kabwe Warriors, Elijah Chikwanda, the tactics going into this match, of course, Kabwe Warriors have played variations of formations this year, but for this one, they went 4-2-3-1 with Nicholas Mlilo up top. First off, Arthur, I want to hear from you. When I look at that lineup, most of the teams I see will play with a big number 9 and a small number 10, a schema. But for Kabwe Warriors, seemingly the opposite. Mulilo, the 9, Kafwaya, the 10. Surprised or it's normal?
It goes to the kind of players that you have. You can't force matters. When you look at Lamek Kafwaya, mostly Lamek is when you put him as a lone striker, he doesn't perform well. But when you put him as a second striker, that's when he performs well. And Amlido has been playing for Kabwe Warriors, though he has only managed to get 2 goals for them. He's a striker. He's capable of getting goals. No wonder every coach, even Elijah Chikwanda and the past coach, are using him.
Okay. Now, in terms of team management and chemistry, Philip Banda comes in to play. Mchelenganga given a bit of a breather. How important is it? Does Napsa Stars have those problems of keeping the entire dressing room happy? I know sometimes a coach will have a preferred starting 11, but if you have the luxury to chop and change here and you still win, it's probably inspired.
Yeah, looking at the way he's coming with the team, Tenant, I think he wants to change something. Not only with Napsa, because I've seen him changing the systems. Maybe it's because of the players. But his system, if you've seen it, I've seen him when he was training the under-23. So he's trying to maybe take it to the under-23 and the Napsa itself, which is maybe to try to see how it's going to help him and maybe the nation. But if you've seen the way he's attacking from the midfield and up front, we've seen that at least there is a combination between his number 9 and the midfielders. But how to hold on to the ball. Sometimes, even it's not only in Napsa. Most of our teams here in Zambia, you put a lone striker as a number 9. Because when you put him, you know that we are putting him to hold on to the ball and allow maybe other players to come assist him, then we move on.
Okay, so let's have a look at one of the tormentors-in-chief for Napsa Stars this season. He's been an integral cog in their system. Collins Kombe is the name. Let's have a look at his tactical movements in this game. Of course, he used to play for Lusaka Dynamos. But here's what was going on, Arthur. Was Collins Kombe, number 1, they played 4-3-3. But look at this. Kombe was playing like a traditional number 8, and the second central creative midfielder, you remember Banda, would actually go up top and provide immediate support and almost stand square with Chitia Msusu, who was leading the line. Then you have Austin Banda and Matthews Maleka in the wide areas. Now, right there, we always talk about things like this, but here's what Kombe was doing. Making those runs wide and creating overloads there. And for Kabwe Warriors, they had challenges. Number 1, dealing with Collins Kombe and the whole Napsa machinery when it came to just keeping them quiet.
You know, Zita, when you look at Collins Kombe and the whole Napsa midfield, the way they were playing, They were not like trying to play in the midfield. Though they are midfielders, they are very quick going forward. No wonder you can see, remember Banda going at pace to go and join the striker, which is very, very good for Zambian football. Nowadays, most teams, the way they play, we look at Kabwe, the way they are playing, they are the one striker, a small guy in stature, and then when you give him the ball, it's taking time for those midfielders to go and support him, which is not good. You are denying him his ability to perform. But when you are giving him support at the right moment, that's when the guy can perform well. Like for Collins Kombe, he has been the engine room for Napsa. He has been orchestrating the midfield, which is good. These are the kind of players that we want, like to improve, so that our national team national team selectors can have a wide range of players to choose from.
Okay, now when you look at the two formations, it's 3v3, but the only difference is Kabwe Warriors is sitting with two defensive midfielders, Vespa, and that question I asked at the beginning, that shift of running back, trying to be the third man in midfield and to be the second man in attack as the link for Lamek Kafwaya, it was actually brought into the test because the three players in the central areas for Napsa Stars, Mighty Quick, Dixon Chapa, you remember Banda, and Collins Kombe. And of course, because of their movement, it's easy for Mususu, Austin Banda, and Maleka to actually find spaces in the final third.
Yeah, if you saw the way Jele Silon, I think Silon Jele is a midfielder. But if you saw the way he was playing, he was deep like a number 10. So that's where you could see that Warriors, they had two anchor midfielders with one attacking midfielder who was trying at least to assist the strikers. No wonder you could see most of the times Kabwe Warriors could have more touches than Napsa. Why? It's because of the players were holding on to the ball, not too much in a hurry to pass, but at least to have space and see if we can get a goal. They tried it, at least most of the times they could go. Silon could maybe try and go, they have a foul. You could see that this guy is coming from the deep midfield and they're exchanging with those small boys who are coming from the wings.
Now,
and that's where they were dangerous.
Now, I'm just thinking, now, the kids, Tennant's kids were outwitting a mighty experienced midfield for Kabwe Warriors. Kafwaya, Silon Jere, and Clement Mwape there. How did that happen?
How did that happen? Is it you look at the patch that the Napsa midfielders were using, and then the way the midfielders for Kabwe Warriors were playing, those guys were just too quick for the Kabwe Warriors guys. No wonder, even if you look at Clement Mwape, I played with him. That one is a natural defender, is not a midfielder. I think it's just a shortage of manpower. That's why Coach Elijah Shkwanda even employed him in the midfield.
Okay, so let's have a look at Kabwe Warriors in attack, because now we need to begin to dissect what the Magnificent People's team was actually doing on the day. Now, here's the problem. They would get the ball because it's Mususu who is sticking along the number 28 in orange on your screen for you there. They're able to exchange passes in the back four, but the problem comes in when the back four needs to release the ball into midfield and into the final third. And you can see how expansive Napsa Stars are. Look at the positioning of the number 3, Boyd Mkandawire, and the number 32, Fred Msinde. They're already overcrowding them in that midfield area. But look at Kabwe Warriors actually standing in a straight line, and look at where Clement Mwape is. And maybe the point you've just raised, he's a defender, so he doesn't have maybe the natural acumen to say, I need to go just behind Mususu, get the ball, and bring in Silon Jere, bring in Kafwaya, bring in Posi Mpemba, and bring in Chanda up front, Vespa.
Yeah, of course, yes. If you saw the way they were coming, you could see that Kabwe Warriors is looking for a goal. But after those passes, you can make passes, yes, but sometimes the passes should allow you to find a space to go and get a goal. Because if you saw the way Napsa closed it, yes, their midfield was okay. When they get the ball, they could run and draw them at least where they can be able to move from the midfield. And then they will leave one in the midfield so that they pass the ball in a counter. Sometimes they were caught in a counter because of the same maybe misunderstanding in the midfield because of the short passes.
Okay, now talking about that one, Arthur, I'm thinking now, instinct would have it that Silion Jere immediately you'll see Clement Mwape is not getting the ball and being the link to that attacking three for Kabwe Warriors in attack, and indeed the top man. Naturally, you'd think he would want to start coming short, but the opposite was happening, almost going forward. What could have been happening there? Because if you look at the two lineups, ideally Kabwe Warriors should have been the more mature of the two sides.
At times, Zite, you bring in a guy who is a defender. Mostly his work, when he's playing as a defensive midfielder, his work will be to mark. But when it comes to playing to attack, it's not that much involved. No wonder at times Sidon Jere could find himself only to go forward, hoping that the defenders will put in a long ball so that he will support from the top there. But football, the way it is, when you are playing like that, you are just denying yourself the possession that will make you get into good space, because you are just playing a route one football from defense up forward, of which.
Just to add on,
I'm just thinking, then maybe William Njovu is an emergency. I saw Patrick Kasunga earlier in the season playing that role and playing it actually very well. And you've got William Njovu as well in your books. Clearly, that's top talent. So this might be a temporal phase, in all honesty.
Of course, Zite, this league, if you look at it the way it is, you would also ask yourself, what is going to happen in the next round? Because it's interesting. You see it, look at Napsa and who is on the second. Where is Zesco and where is Zanaco? Okay? So looking at the way this league is and the way they are playing, Kabwe Warriors is not a bad team from the time they've changed their coach. And looking at the way they are playing now, in the next round we may see the different Kabwe Warriors.
In next round, but I'm sure now if for whatever reason Kasunga and William Njovu are not available, perhaps that's where Njanji may need to splash some cash, get a link between defense and attack.
Definitely. After the game, I had to listen to Coach Kwanda's interview. He said they have acquired some players to beef up the squad. I don't know. He even didn't know what happened. I think paperwork was not done at the right time, so the guys missed the game. He said the way they prepared for that game is not the way the players that prepared for that game are not the players that played. I think they've looked into that. At first, even before the league started, I watched Kabwe Warriors playing a friendly here in Lusaka. I talked to Coach Sichikolo. I told him, I think the way I'm looking at this team, it's not the team that the coach, their former coach,
Chintu,
not Chintu, the one for Muhammad Fati had. When you look at Kabwe Warriors last season, they were getting good results. They were posting results. They finished, I think, in the top 8. But are they the same players that they're having now? I had to, like, the way I know Zambian League, I talked to Sichikolo. I told him, Coach, I think you have a lot of work to do. Even Coach Kwanda attested to that. He even promised, like, this is the last time you are seeing Kabwe Warriors playing the way we've played today. He has promised us good matches, and obviously they'll be getting maximum points at the position that they are. It's very, very dangerous. 14 points out of the 17 games that they've played. It's not a good position for the magnificent people's team.
I'm actually thinking as well. Coach Kwanda, for example, at Nkwazi believes playing with the flat back four. The fullbacks didn't have a lot of freedom to go forward. We saw a bit of a change when he went to City. which one do we expect to see going forward tactically? Will he allow his fullbacks to attack a little bit more?
I'm sure he will, especially that he's looking for his team that at least he can win some games. Because as it now, if you concentrate on defending, because if you look at the way Warriors is losing, I think they have been losing just 1-0, maybe 2. I've never heard of them maybe losing 3-4-4-0. It means that their organization in defense and maybe the midfield, they're okay. But they are just lacking maybe in finishing. But Chikwanda of late, the way you are talking about Nkwazi, when he was at Nkwazi, you could see even the attacking for Nkwazi. Up to now, I think they are still using the same Chikwanda system, the way they were attacking Nkwazi. It's only time which was not given for him at the City that he could maybe change things. You never know that things may change. But he didn't have that time when he left with Kabwe Warriors now, and which is, if you look at the way he has played so far, there's a change, of course, yes, and we'll see more, I think, in the next round.
Okay, so let's also further do deeper introspective analysis of how Kabwe Warriors played. They actually played with a lot of width in this game. So let us look at the illustration and probably begin to study the consequences of them playing with width. So Napsa Stars are centrally compact. They don't give them space to actually play out even that long, hopeful ball in the central areas. So they need to find space wide where the likes of Paul Simpemba are finding a bit of space. Now, when Simpemba gets on the ball there, all of a sudden now, Napsa Stars are failing to rejig their defensive organization to actually stop Kabwe Warriors from trying to hurt them. They really tried, especially from the right-hand side, as we will see further down in the show. And I'm just thinking, that duo there, Mkandawire versus Simpemba, could have yielded results. Probably Kabwe Warriors man of the match, even though Warriors lost, Arthur.
Yes, Simpemba, most of the times when he had the ball on the right flank, he was always beating the defender, but in the attacking third, the final pass was the one which was lacking for them to get goals. Because at one point in time, I saw them putting the ball in the 18 area, and only for Napsa Stars players to react first and clear the ball, which was the best chance of the game that they had. It came from the right. Okay,
so let's have a look at what Kabwe Warriors managed to yield. The results of their attacking prowess. Of course, they were restricted from playing in the central areas. They were forced to play wide. Now, those are the results. Now, those are the free kicks they won where the white balls are. Then you have those chances. Kafwaya on the edge of the 16, failing to score there. Silion Jere had a headed opportunity there. Didn't score. Mulilo, before he was stretched off, had a hopeful chance on the edge of the area just outside the D to score, but nothing gives. Clement Mwape as well, nothing gives there. And of course you've got Chanda there also almost getting a chance. But it just shows you that how everything was going wide. And if you're Tenan Chilumba, you look at that picture, it's probably what he wanted. He didn't want them to actually have a lot of shooting opportunities in the central areas, but force them wide as much as possible, Vespa.
Yes, of course, he wanted to force them wide. But sometimes if you've seen the way our friends in Europe, the way they organize themselves when they are attacking from the wings, that's where the goals are coming from. So for us here in Africa, if you take us in the wings, then they will even tell you, no, we've closed. They can't even cross and maybe they've lost the ball. But it's a very good system. You know, having players who can go to the wings, dribble, find space, make a cross. We don't have players here in Zambia, are you sure, Zite, who can score with headers? Have you watched one?
I'm just thinking, you've got a certain gentleman called Mr. Lamek Kafaya coming from deep, will probably be very hard to track Arthur. But yeah, the wing play didn't yield the goals for Kabwe Warriors, and which brings the question is that at the end of the day, maybe the demand for Silion Jere, Clement Mwape, and Lamek Kafaya was, whilst the ball was going wide, They needed to play as well. The guys in the middle,
Yes.
no matter what. We are playing kids,
Yes.
Napsa star kids, nowhere near pensionable age.
Yes, it. What is lacking in our football now is putting in the balls in the 18 areas coming from the wings. Those days, I think those days have gone. And nowadays, when you get the ball in the wing, maybe you bring it back in the midfield. You try to play 1-2s there. Try to score from the middle, which is so difficult. I think the easiest way to score in football is when you're putting those quality crosses. Even defenders can even score on goals.
Yes,
but
yes.
nowadays, when you look at most teams, even our big clubs like Zesco, Zanaco, it's only Zanaco who does that.
Yeah, but again, there's always going to be that debate about the simplicity of wing play and how easy it is to stop. Case in example, this game, let's have a look at the statistics and just look at what all this hard work for Warriors means. Look, crosses for Warriors. Now, Tena Chilumba will be very happy with the performance of his lads. They only allowed them to put in 4 crosses. Only once did they land on their target. On the other hand, Napsa, who were playing a 4-3-3, which is traditionally no crossing football, got twice as much as Kabwe Warriors.
Yeah, it's all about the pace that was coming from the midfield of Napsa Stars. They were very quick in breaking into attack. No wonder they had so many crosses compared to Kabwe Warriors. Kabwe Warriors, when you look at them, when they were attacking, at times they could even you could even see they don't know what they are doing at times, because the final pass in the attacking third wasn't that good.
What do you do? So, what do we play? Wing play. Next on today, what should Chikwanda be saying, gentlemen?
But Zita,
I need you to go to the line.
Zita,
Put in a cross.
when you are even making a system, having a system for yourself to say, okay, this is a system we are going to be using. So you also look at the players I have. Players, if they are wingers, you even tell them that you as a winger, your job is to dribble. Go have a space and make a cross. Because we have strikers waiting for crosses.
Yeah, but Arthur, you've played in that position. You're a striker. You're a thing. If Arthur is not putting in the cross for you, Vespa, hey, number 8, wake up. As far as I'm concerned, wake up. Now, we need to start playing from the
our
middle.
days, they were insults. No process coming, they will insult you. They want money. So they want to win. So all the departments used to work in our days.
Now,
But even now it can work, because you have departments. They are defenders with the goalkeeper, they are midfielders, and they are strikers. Strikers are there to make the team win, Zite.
actually, now I'm going to ask this, Arthur. You look at that game. You played 4-2-3-1, double anchorman, where, well, Silon Jero was almost making it 4-1-4-1, granted. But if you play with 2 number 6 and you've got 1 number 10 called Lamek Kafoya, you're almost saying in this formation, we do not need a number 8. Does Kabwe Warriors need a number 8 on the balance of play? Because now you need to change your tactic to actually see how you're going to score if you're being closed up.
You know, Zite, the way Kabwe Warriors was playing, when you look at the system that they used, that system of 4-2-3-1, when you look at it, it's a defend. Mostly, when you want to defend, that's when you apply that system. But it's when you want to get results, you use that system, which Coach Tena Chilumba used. He played with 2 attacking midfielders, which will give you enough manpower to go and attack and get goals. But for Kabwe Warriors, I think when I look at the system, that system, usually, mostly, it's not easy for you to be broken down. But no wonder they only allowed 1 goal. But for you to score again, it's not an easy system for you to get goals. You only get 1 or 2 goals. No wonder when you look at the goals that Kabwe Warriors have conceded and how many draws they've got, I think it's because of the system that they've been playing. That system is not easy to get goals. You only get maybe 1. You can't get 3 goals using that system.
It comes back to maybe application. I asked this question at the top of the show. I've seen big striker Festus Mbewe playing the 9, Sate the 10. Oh, that looks familiar. Now, if you're not having that much space, if we're Lamekafoya in the half space, Vespa and Mulilo, with all his space, he's only keeping Luka Banda and Alex Mwamba busy in the central areas. Clearly, there was no space for Mulilo's space to show in that game. And partly because the ball handling and ball circulation skills of Warriors were dodgy on the day.
You know, sometimes even us coaches, you know, as he has said, like throughout the game, you have closed the game to say, okay, we are going to defend. Sometimes we coaches, we tell our players to say, okay, for this game, since we are playing a team which is already on top, let's try to contain them. Maybe we defend, at least we get a draw. Instead of encouraging your players maybe to say, okay, we have to win this game at all costs. Because looking at the way we've been playing of late, we haven't won any game. So you need to tell your players like, okay, for this game, let's go for a win. But like if you look at Chikwanda's attack, it was all in like defending first. Then if we have a chance, we hit and then maybe get a goal. But
that sounds like my big man, Mr. Chikwanda. He probably hates the idea of conceding goals. Yes. And so he wants to concede 0, preferably.
But again, you look at the position in which Kabwe are at, and Chikwanda being like that was his second game. His time he started showing his ability as a coach now to start giving hope to the sponsors and the fans. Better Zite, you start getting goals. Whereby if Kabwe hasn't considered much goals. But it's now time for them to start getting goals.
But how do you get the goals? Champagne football? You're asking Elijah Chikwanda to play attacking football, which the people of Kabwe know and love.
No, Warriors has been in a champagne football from Warriors. Yuka Godfrey time itself, because they've been playing that champagne football. If you remember, almost 4 or 5 years, it was Warriors again. Warriors, Warriors, Warriors. After the shouting of Warriors, they are scored, forgetting that football is scoring. So Warriors, most of their games they play, they cannot lose maybe with a big margin. It's because of the way they keep the ball.
Okay.
They are good when you possess, but the finishing itself.
So how do we win football matches?
It's by getting goals. Now, if
how do you get goals? What system do they play?
It shows it when you come in a game with two defending midfielders, like 4 at the back, 2 defending midfielders. How many players are helping you in attack? Only 4 players, and it's not easy because you look at the way they were outplayed in the midfield. It won't be easy. No wonder Mulilo couldn't even get chances to go and have a shot at goal.